what services were covered, how much a doctor should be paid, and how much a member owes. And then let's say you have questions about your bill, which is totally natural. You can reach out to your concierge team. So the way our concierge team is set up is we have 5 different members that are assigned to a population of members. So every time you as a member may secure a message or call our concierge team, you're going to reach your same team. So they know you, they know your journey. And on the flip side, our concierge team also has a whole suite of concierge tools that allow them to look up member information, action member information, engage with you, generate documents for you, really anything that you need to help you through your healthcare experience. So, as you can tell, it takes a village. And this is not in any way comprehensive of the whole world of different people that we have that are there to support the ecosystem that we've built out. We really believe in being powered by people. And so all the systems and machines that we built are really meant to augment it, because healthcare is just functionally very human, and we want to make sure we maintain that essence as well. That being said, there's a lot of users, and a lot of users need a lot of tools to make sure they can actually deliver the best member experience. So we have a long, long list of things that we've built out and a longer list of things that we should be building out to support all of these users. So you may be thinking, how do we manage all these things, and how do we stay on track with our roadmaps, and how do we make sure we're thinking about our members consistently? One of the things that we do is take a user-centric platform approach. So what does that mean exactly? A common theme across all of these users is they need some fundamental sources of truth so they can do their jobs and support our members. So they need to understand who are our members, who are our providers, what are our plans, what are our benefits. So we've really thought about centralizing these sources of truth in our platform and making it configurable and flexible and scalable. And the goals of that is we can build cooler things on top of it, and we can innovate faster, and we can just scale faster. I'll dive into a little bit more around what this entails later in the presentation. So before I dive into that, I thought it would be helpful to sort of take a step back and talk about how we think about product management at Oscar across different levels of the stack. So first, let's talk about user applications. I think this is something that's probably familiar to most of the room. You're building digital applications for a user. You're like obsessed with your user. You're thinking about their every move. And you're really thinking about how to build a visual, intuitive user experience. I'm not going to spend too much time on this space because I think there's a ton of content out there in the product world about this space, but just wanted to anchor around this example. Then there's internal tools. So you may have heard me allude to this a bunch, but there's a whole suite of internal tools we've built at Oscar that directly or indirectly support our members. And so here you're thinking about the user that then supports the end user. So our end users could be members or could be providers in some cases. And in some cases, our users may directly interact with the end user. So for example, our concierge team is speaking with our members. There are some users that may not directly interface with our end users. So, for example, our network team, as I alluded to earlier, spends a lot of time building the network for our members so they can find the right doctors. They may not be directly interfacing, but they have a huge impact on the member experience as well. And so we have a whole suite of internal tools for those teams to support them. The last one I want to talk about, I'm going to spend the rest of my time talking about, is platform. So I alluded to this earlier, but how you can think about this conceptually and tactically is fundamentally a whole suite of data models and services coupled with internal tools that really own these sources of truth. Now, users of platforms could be other products, so other internal user applications or external user applications, or direct user. So anyone that's accessing that data is also a user as well. As you can imagine, there's a wider breadth of users when you're working on platform. And a couple other things to note here is it's fundamentally focused on thinking about scalability and flexibility. And there's a couple other things in terms of the nuances of the product development cycle. So when we're in build mode, it's a lot harder to test and iterate. Like, you can't really A/B test a platform while you're building. So there's a lot more emphasis on the discovery and the scoping work. So I'll dive into that in a second. So speaking of, thought it'd be helpful to go through the product development lifecycle for a platform. And so very quickly you'll learn it's not that different. First, we start off with a hypothesis. So just like a bunch of user applications, we really need to understand the users of our platform. So we listen to our users, we monitor data, we shadow teams, we look at external players in the industry to see what's happening, and then we come up with a hypothesis on something that we should be working on. So let's take an example. Members, providers, and internal users need to be able to trust that information about OSCA's providers and networks are accurate. Great. That's a way we can